Yeah. All right, welcome back to Fantasy Football Frenzy. As we said before, we're going to talk about some wide receivers now, which is a big hot commodity in the league. A lot of depth at wide receiver this year, so we're going to up our top 5 rankings to our own personal top 15 rankings. They're going to sway back and forth, but hopefully they'll sway you to pick their choices.
Making transitions nicely there.
What did you think of that? Pretty good.
It was pretty good. Pretty continuing. Number 15 on the wide receiver chart, I have Carolina's Steve Smith. He has a broken arm. He broke his arm this offseason, but, playing flag football like a little bitch. He probably would. He's like 5'4", he'll murder me. He's a fast healer. We learned that last season. As long as he's healthy to go, he's going to leave Matt Moore a nice target, stretch in the field. Number 14, I have Marcus Colston, New Orleans Saints. They pass the ball a lot and all over the place in New Orleans. Drew Brees' favorite end zone target, big guy from Hofstra. Number 13, Anquan Bolden, Joe Flacco's new number 1 target. He's a possession receiver. As long as he stays healthy instead of battling injuries like he did in Arizona, he should be good. Number 12, Wes Welker. He's a pretty good target. Tore his ACL in the last week of the regular season last year. He was questionable for training camp. Came back healthy, running routes without any problems. Should be ready to go week 1. I would pick him up. Number 11, Brandon Marshall. It's a run-first offense in Miami, but one of Chad Henne's favorite targets. He will be one of Chad Henne's favorite targets as a number 1, 2, and 3 receiver for him. Number 10, Calvin Johnson. Gotta not watch the camera. Calvin Johnson. As long as Matt Stafford stays healthy in Detroit, Calvin Johnson should be back over 1,000 yards receiving. Last year, he only had about 900 while he was in and out of the games. Number 9, Deshaun Jackson. He's a good defense/special teams player. He gets you some touchdowns off of that. Kevin Cobb. We'll see how he does, but it's supposed to be a down year for Jackson. Number 8, Sidney Rice of the Minnesota Vikings. Brett Favre's favorite target. As long as Favre comes back, expect big things from Sidney Rice. Brett Favre's coming back. Number 7, Miles Austin. We're going to find out one way or another if Miles Austin was a one-hit wonder in Dallas or if Dez Bryant is really the go-to guy there now that he's been drafted for the Cowboys. Number 6, Greg Jennings. A lot of people aren't too high on him after last season was a bit of a disappointment. I still like him. Very pass-happy in Green Bay. They're going to give him the ball. He has Donald Driver, but Donald Driver's about 35 now. Not that good when you're older. Number 4, Larry Fitzgerald. Matt Leinert's a lefty. He's bad. Number 3. Thank you. Thank you.
Steve Young was lefty.
That's fine. Steve Young is bad. Matt Moore is bad. He kills dogs. Number 3, Reggie Wayne. Having some contract disputes right now with Indy, but still Peyton Manning's favorite target, and he's probably the best for Peyton Manning. Best for Peyton Manning. I was like, wait, there's 2 more people above him. Number 2, Randy Moss. Is entering a contract year, wants some big points, big yards, so he gets big money one last time. Big points.
But he's like 34. So.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but he's old.
So? No, 35.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Andre Johnson, number 1, as usual. He's going to be gone in the first round. He's the best around. Nothing's going to ever keep him down.
Thank you, Philip. Yeah. I have some different rankings. Pretty much the same people. They're going to dance while I talk, so just watch their dance moves. They're pretty good. Just kind of listen to me in the background. Okay. I got Chad Ochocinco at 15. The Bengals are obviously a run-first offense with Cedric Benson. Carson Palmer really isn't that, I guess, reliable. But with the addition of Antonio Bryant as a deep threat, Chad Ochocinco can do what he does best, and that is he runs great routes. He has amazing hands, and he outmuscles almost all defenders. So as a number 2 receiver for you, he should be really good this season. Number 4, I have Steve Smith of the Giants, actually. Most people call him the other Steve Smith. He was the 11th best receiver in fantasy last season. The Giants are now a pass-first team with no running backs. Brandon Jacobs sucks. And 2010, they should obviously do this, even probably more passing. He isn't really a deep threat, which isn't great as you're picking him this early. He only had 2 plays last season of more than 40 yards. But he works in the middle of the field. He's very steady, but he's just not explosive. Number 13, I have Marcus Colston. He has great hands also, like Phil said, from Hofstra, 7th-round pick. He's a great scoring threat, but the Saints' offense is obviously loaded with weapons. He doesn't get enough looks to be a number 1 receiver. He only got 20% of Drew Brees' passes thrown his way, which is the lowest for any receiver who got 1,000 receiving yards. Here's their go-to guy in close situations, which they didn't really have last season. But this season, I expect more close games, so I should throw to him a little bit more late. He had only 5 games last season with more than 5 receptions, so he's very inconsistent. 12, Sidney Rice. Rice emerged as the number 1 receiver last season with Brett Favre, even though most people thought number 1 receiver was going to be Bernard Berrien. He's a great deep threat, and Favre really likes throwing him the ball. Just like Colston, the Vikings have other great receiving options, but Favre likes him, and there's no reason he shouldn't repeat his 09 numbers. 11, one of my personal favorites, Steve Smith from Carolina. He has been in the top 20 for fantasy receivers for 5 straight seasons, so pretty consistent. Last year, it was a down year, but he had Jake Dill, really bad quarterback. Not Jake DeHomo. We're trying to be nice here. As his quarterback early on, obviously, he threw a lot of interceptions and fumbled a lot. And at the end of the season, if you remember, Steve Smith did much better with Matt Moore's quarterback. So with him as a quarterback the entire season, you got to think his numbers will improve. Number 10, Miles Austin. I kind of think last year was kind of a fluke, but he's still a really good receiver. He actually missed. He barely played in the first month of last season, but was still 3rd in receiving yards and 3rd in receiving touchdowns. So those numbers probably will improve. But he's really only a 1-year wonder. He is a 1-year wonder so far. Stupid. And Craig is an idiot. The Cowboys did select Dez Bryant in the first round, and they still have Roy E. Williams on their team. But Miles Austin is the number 1 receiver, and he has some good chemistry with Tony Homo. 9, Greg Jennings. Obviously, amazing quarterback to get him the ball. And unlike most other number 1 receivers, he can't be double-teamed. They have a good tight end, another good receiver, and Donald Driver, who I think is having a good season, even though someone thinks he's old. He is old, but still have a good season. He should get about 1,100 yards and about 6 to 8 touchdowns. So he's pretty safe. Deshaun Jackson, not as safe. He is really scary for defensive coordinators. He's so fast and athletic. He does have Kevin Corn on the Cob trying to throw him the ball instead of Dominic Nye. But speed kills, and he's a great deep threat. Number 7, Brandon Marshall. I like him a little bit more than Phillip, but still I'm not that sold on him. If you trust Chad Henne, pick him maybe a little bit earlier. If you don't, see if he falls, which he's not, and just don't pick him. He's more of a possession receiver than a deep threat. He's kind of like Wes Welker, but especially if you have points per reception in your league, move him up a little bit. 6, I have Megatron, Calvin Johnson. He had a down season last year because he had Dante Pepper and Matthew break his arm and throw a touchdown Stafford at quarterback. But with Stafford, those were top of my head. I didn't write those down. Okay, I don't know why the host is talking to me. I'm the person that talks, not him. Faggot. And yeah, when Nate Burleson left, when Nate Burleson signed in the off season, then he should be better. And I think we're going to commercial break. The host is really pissing me off, so.